Whether I'm a masochist or just want to tell an embarrassing story, if I pull my shirt over my head at some point, it's because I don't want to know if anybody's looking at me. I was 19 years old, in between my freshman and sophomore year at college at the University of Illinois in Champaign, and was living at home, my parents' place at Sheridan in Belmont in the city, and sharing a bedroom with my twin brother. My friend Mike called one night and we had the following in-depth conversation. Friday night good? Yeah. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. You want to go to that place we passed? You know, that bar, that big place on Broadway? Yeah, okay. So that was the conversation we had. Things were different for me in those days. I was 19. And it was like we'd go out and have 5, 6, 7 drinks and didn't think there was anything wrong with that. Now, you know, I have 3 drinks, but 2 of them are waters. And I've had 2 kids who have gone through college, and I've watched how the country can nominate people to, you know, the FBI and the Supreme Court who have apparently had too much to drink. So, back to that night. We got to this bar and it was loud, obnoxious, and they had beer specials. So, for us, it was perfect. We finished a pitcher of beer and it was like 11:30 at night, and my friend said, let's get another pitcher, and I said, fine. So we're drinking, and I noticed that my friend is getting very cozy with a woman at the next table, and she's like much older. She must have been like 28 or something, you know. And I didn't want to be a wingman, so I said, all right, I've had enough, I think I'm gonna leave. So I leave the bar, and I realize I don't have any money. I didn't have an ATM card, there were no cell phones then, I didn't have a credit card. And I didn't want to go back into the bar while my friend was talking to Mrs. Robinson, or so it appeared. So I said, all right, I'm just gonna walk. It was about 4 miles to my parents' place. After about 2 blocks, I can't do this. And I did something that, well, I'll tell you. There was a traffic light, and cars were in the intersection. And I went into one of the cars in the intersection and I rapped on the window. And the guy lowered the window and I said, can you give me a ride? And he looked at me and said, get the fuck away from my car. And I took that as a no. So I go back to the sidewalk and I'm kind of teetering between the sidewalk and the street. And I get hit by a car. Not hard, but hard enough so that I went flying like 5 feet and my glasses went flying off. And I'm staring at the pavement. There wasn't any blood, but there were some scratches. And I look up and there are 2 police officers standing over me. And I'm like, this is not good. And one of them says, are you okay? How you doing? I said, I'm okay. And they said, where are you going? And I said, home, going home. I said, and where's home? I said, my parents' place, Sheridan in Belmont. And the cop said to me something that no police officer had said before then or since. He said, do you want to ride? I said, sure. And I get up and I look, and it wasn't a police car, it was a paddy wagon. And they throw me in the back and lock me in there, and I felt kind of proud because in the time I was in that paddy wagon, I didn't get sick at all. The vehicle stops. We're at my parents' place. They opened the paddy wagon. I said, hey, thanks guys. And I said, sure, be careful. And I walk into the building And the doorman, his jaw is dropped. His name is Eddie. And he's like, that's quite a way to travel, isn't it? Get into the elevator, go inside, get the key out. Home, home. And I go inside, it's about 2 a.m, and my twin brother is watching Hawaii Five-0 on TV. He's watching reruns. And I sit down next to him, and he goes, hey. I go, what did you do tonight? And he goes, well, my roommate came in, and we had a couple of beers, and we went to a diner. What did you do? I said, I got hit by a cop car, and then they gave me a ride home. And that was so interesting to my brother that he almost stopped watching Hawaii Five-0 for 2 minutes. We're sitting there, trying to chill out, and he gets up and he goes to the refrigerator and says to me, you want a beer? I said, no, I think I've had enough. Thanks.